Hello to Professor Madam Ainul. I'm Hema Adiklasami from HG07 second year. My topic for this presentation is protein truncation test. Okay, so for the introduction, molecular biology focuses on comprehension of processes such as replication, transcription, translation of genetic materials in a very molecular level. So around 30 years after the beginning of molecular biology studies, which is around the years of 1960s, molecular biologists have established techniques and tools to identify, isolate, and manipulate these materials in cells, especially DNA, RNA, and proteins. Hence, some of these typical and popular methods used include molecular cloning, polymerase chain reaction, gel electrophoresis, macromolecule blotting and probing, microarrays, and allele-specific oligonucleotides. Protein truncation test is also sometimes referred to as the in vitro synthesized protein assay or the IVSP assay. So essentially, this technique is a protocol for screening a coding region of a gene for mutation, which leads to premature termination of mRNA translation. So the reasons behind why PTT is such a preferred choice over any other mutation detecting methods is that it is precisely able to locate the site of a mutation. It has a very good sensitivity towards such sites, especially which causes the translation terminating mutations, and it has a very low false positive rate, and above all, it has a very near exclusive highlighting of disease causing mutation, which means it doesn't just detect any mutation or any change in sequence which doesn't cause any mutation. It specifically can detect changes in sequence or mutation that can cause a disease. So following this list of reasons, okay, there's another icing on the cake, which is that this test has assisted in the detection of a new type of mutation, which is the sequence change generating a hypermutable region surfacing the RNA. So not just a normal mutation, which is a mutation which is abnormally frequent. So it was able to identify a new type of mutation. The molecular basis of this technique is just simple, using in vitro transcription and translation from amplified RNA. So essentially, the coding region of a gene that has the specifically premature terminating translation mutation, all right, will be screened using this procedure, this in vitro translation and transcription. So now let's just look at the three major steps that are involved in this technique. All right, first, beginning with copying the coding sequence of the target from a patient-derived RNA sample using reverse transcriptase or RT, followed by amplification using a specifically designed tailed primer in a polymerase chain reaction, or also PCR. Now let's look at step number 2. Step number 2 is using the amplification products as a template for in vitro synthesis of RNA and subsequently the proteins. So why do we need to amplify, right? So amplifying the gene in several segments that overlap each other by around 300 to 500 base pairs increases the sensitivity of this protein truncation test. Now let's look at it. A truncation mutation located toward the 3' end of one segment will also occur near the 5' end of the next overlapping segment, thus increasing the likelihood of identifying the truncated protein. So amplifying is so important because if you increase the number of the segments that have the truncation proteins, then it's the sensitivity and the likelihood of you finding that site of mutation is also high. All right, so now let's look at step number 3. All right, so what is step number 3? Step number 3 is analyzing the synthesized protein. So how do we analyze the proteins? Obviously by using the SDS stage gel electrophoresis, because this gel electrophoresis helps to separate the proteins according to their size. So how is this relevant to analyzing the proteins, right? because the protein that is fully translated will be longer in size, or to say the truncated proteins or that has undergone mutation, that has undergone the translation termination mutation, will be shorter than the originally or fully translated coding region. Alright, so by comparing their sizes, we are able to analyze the protein which is truncated or which does not have the terminating of translation mutation. Now for a more elaborate discussion on the basis of this technique. So the most common or mainstream approach used in this technique is the non-radioactive protein truncation test. So now, as we have already established, the protein truncation test detects prematurely translation terminating products by in vitro transcription and translation. So now let's look at what we haven't looked at and what we have missed. Okay, so basically transcription and translation are performed in vitro. Now these processes occur in vitro for transcription using a T7 RNA polymerase based transcription system, because the T7 promotes higher efficiency of transcription. So they use this system. And for the translation, they use a highly efficient translation system which is known as the reticulocyte lysate translation system. So during the translation, either one of these two are used, which is the biotin labeled lysine or N-terminal protein tag. These are to tag or to somehow mark the desired protein, right? So after SDS page and Western blotting, the translation products are assessed to reveal mutations. So how are they assessed? They are assessed by using or the detection is accomplished by using chemiluminescence targeted at the biotin labeled lysine. So there is a marker on the proteins because of the usage of biotin labeled lysines, so that can be targeted using chemiluminescence system, or by any other immunological detection to detect the protein tag which is incorporated during the translation. Okay, so that is one of the two methods to accomplish the detection. There are many materials and substances used in a protein truncation test. So now let's look at some of the laboratory tools involved in this process. So firstly, let's look at a laboratory incubator. So obviously an incubator is essential for when isolating RNA from blood. So these are all at the beginning stages of the procedure. And we will also be using a thermocycler. So a thermocyclers are used for amplifying the RNA samples by PCR, so polymerase chain reaction. The entire reaction occurs in the thermocycler. And then we will also come across an SDS page, which is an SDS page system, which is for gel electrophoresis. So obviously it's for protein separation according to their size. Next, we will also come across Western blotting system. So this system is to detect specific proteins from the sample. So in brief, the protein undergoes denaturation and then it will be followed by gel electrophoresis process. Other two systems that we will be looking at is the chemiluminescence system and a HA tag detection system. So these systems are to detect the translation products, alright, so for detection purposes. Alright, so UV transilluminator to observe the separated RNA by the SDS page system. An example of research article that I have found regarding PTT is this one right here on this slide. So the title for this research article is PTT for Rapid Detection of Translation Terminating Mutations. So basically this research explains how and shows evidence on how PTT is a convenient method for rapid detection of translation terminating mutations. According to this research article, other conventional methods such as DGGE, SSCP, heteroduplex analysis, chemical mismatch cleavage are much more time consuming as well as inaccurate when compared to PTT. So why are they inaccurate, right? So the reasons for these other conventional methods being inaccurate is because those techniques detects all sequence difference, even those that are phenotypically silent mutations, meaning that they do not cause any disease, they do not cause any harm in their alterations. So even those kind of gene sequences will be detected. So it's inefficient and inaccurate because we need to target these gene locations that have caused a disease. So also it means that they have very low sensitivity to the specifically translation terminating mutation sites. So that's why they are inefficient. So basically this research also focuses on DMD disease, which stands for Duchenne muscular dystrophy. Duchenne muscular dystrophy is a genetic disorder characterized by progressive muscle degeneration and weakness due to the alterations of a protein called dystrophin that helps keep muscle cells intact. So mutations in the DMD gene alter the structure or function of this dystrophin protein and prevent any functional dystrophin from being produced. Muscle cells without enough of this protein become damaged as muscles repeatedly contract and relax with use. In these slides of diagrams and tables and illustration, you can see the figure that shows the entire process of protein truncation test being carried out, and the explanations are right here. So everything that I have already discussed previously, everything that I've said has been summarized into this one tiny figure. Okay. For this figure, you can see on the top layer, it is the size of the proteins that are full length transcripts. So basically they are the protein size that has not undergone any mutation, so that would what they would look like. And those that have mutations are also known as truncated proteins. These are their sizes, which are their fairly shorter, way shorter than the original or fully transcripted proteins right here. In a nutshell, PTT or protein truncation test is important in screening for unknown mutations that cause premature termination of mRNA translation. PTT has become such a popular screening method because it is so efficient in the means of screening coding sequences. So other alternate approaches require much more effort, much more time, fairly inaccurate when compared to PTT, and always generate excess data that are irrelevant to mutation detection. PTT only detects alterations in a coding sequence that lead to a truncated protein product. So fortunately, many genetic diseases are caused by inheritance of loss of function mutations, and premature truncation of the protein product is a common mechanism leading to loss of function. So thus, a protein truncation assay can efficiently detect mutation predisposing to disease. PTT has been successful in detecting mutation genes in breast cancer type 1 and type 2 cases, commonly known as BRCA1 and BRCA2. So lastly, this test has been serving a highly functional purpose to molecular genetics and identifying its shortcomings such as mutations. Thank you.